What's going on, YouTube? My name is Steven, and you who are watching this is my first video for my channel. To give you a little background history, I've been playing Vanguard for about a year and a half. Started back when Set 8 came out, been playing ever since. I started with, my first deck was Shadow Paladins. It was back when you had Phantom Blaster Dragon and Phantom Blaster Overlord. And I went on to playing other clans like Dimensional Police with Ayusha, played around with some other clans, and then till finally when Set 12 came out, finally got brought back Shadow Paladins, which I was excited about. Um, to kind of give you an idea, well, it's kind of Shadow Paladins straightforward, but for me as a player, I'm a much more aggressive player. I My playstyle is power to the Vanguard. It's straightforward. That's my thing. I'm not a very I don't like playing tactical decks like, Aqua Force or any other decks like that. Um my thing is like I like to play a deck where it's like straight go for the throat and end the game that way. That you should be that's just the way I like playing it. And that's what Shadow Paladins do, is that the power goes towards your Vanguard. Your rear guards are not as powerful, or not, don't hit for her. It's a lot higher numbers than your Vanguard would, but your Vanguard is your powerhouse, like Raging Form. He pretty much goes in and just ends it. That's his point. So since this being my first video, I'm going to do my first video with my first deck profile. So my first deck profile is going to be Revengers. So for the grade 3 lineup, you run 4 Mordred Phantoms, 4 Raging Forms. Mordred Phantom is your break ride. When a Shadow Paladin rides over top of it, Counterblast 1 gives the Vanguard plus 10k and lets you search out grade 2 or less Shadow Paladin call to rear guard, gives a plus 5. Raging Form, a lot of people know, when it swings, either it hits or doesn't hit, retire 3 rear guards. You persona ride it with another copy of Raging Form, and you ride over top of the one as standing, and you get plus 10k, and you get to swing again. So on to the grade 2s. Now for my grade 2 lineup, I run 4 Blaster Dark Revengers, 4 Masquerades, and 3 Tartus. You run 4 Blaster Darks because Blaster Dark with Dorant gives you plus because it just lets you on flip. He counterblasts 2 either on Vanguard, rear guard, retire something. Masquerade, he's your 12k attacker for Revengers. And Tartu is counterblast 2, search out a grade 1 and call it into the same column as Tartu. Fantastic card for building up your columns. Point is, you're thinning out your deck, searching out these other units, replacing the units that you're retiring for Raging Form to fill up your field for him, but you're also taking cards out of the deck. So that's all that's left is going to be your triggers. So when Raging Form is swinging, it's pretty much trigger, critical, draw, critical, so forth, so forth. So your opponent's just going to be guarding left and right. So that's the grade 2s. So on to the grade 1s. Now for the grade 1 lineup, I run 4 Masquerade the grade 1 because he's your 10k attacker. Great for that early game rush, especially when you have him on the rear guard. He's great. 4 Perfect Guards because these days with just break rides and so many other things out there, you have to run 4 Perfect Guards. 4 Dorant, because the fact is you run 4 of her because of Blaster Dark. When she's on the field, you call Blaster Dark in the same column as her, you get to unflip a damage. So with this deck, you're going to be using your counterblast with you're searching her out, and you're with Morgifand and Tartu, all this other stuff. This is your unflipper. So it's great. So you don't have to run, damage on flippers where you have to attack. If the attack hits the Vanguard, you unflip. This, it's just call Blaster Dark, unflip. Then I run Dylan. Dylan is your personal booster for Raging Form. Soul Blast 1 goes up by 5k, so it's 11k booster for Raging Form. Even with Raging Form's on the rear guard, for some reason you have to call a Raging Form to the rear guard. You can, but he's great because he lets Raging Form hit for 22 instead of normally an 18, which normally that's what you're doing is you're swinging for 18 instead. So on to the grade zeros or the trigger lineup. So from a grade 0 lineup, I run 4 heals always. I run 7 criticals and then 5 draw. A lot of people just run straight 8 crits, 4 draws. I've seen people run 6 and 6. My magic lineup that works perfectly for me with just about any deck that I normally would run, it's always 7 and 5. 7 crits, 7 draws. The 7 crits is a nice pressure, but then the extra draw trigger gives me my nice size hand that I like to keep, where you're not also decking out of your deck quick, going through your deck quickly. For me, it's the right balance. And then for the starter, it's Creeping Dark Goat, which is your grade 3 searcher, which is probably your best starter right now. This lets you, find, your Raging Forms, lets you check and see if your Raging Forms are there, or, if you're grade locked and you don't have your grade 3, you can search it out, or say, you're grade locked to 2 and you need a good shuffle because you look at the top 5 and there's no 2 in sight. It lets you shuffle up your deck, which is great. But that's really it. But right now, with a Revenger deck, the sad thing is that it's a standard build, no matter what you do. The only thing that really changes up is maybe 1 or 2 grade 1s, maybe the triggers, but the grade 3s and the grade 2s are always the same. Any Revenger deck you play. I'm just more looking forward to the new support where the deck goes from a standard build to a more tech build. And you'll see that when set 15 comes out, you'll start seeing it be more tech. You'll see a lot of different deck builds, a lot of different styles. And you'll definitely see my build. You'll definitely see Raging Form change, and you'll definitely see any other Shadow Paladin decks I play. So that's it for right now. I hope you guys like my video. You'll be seeing more videos coming from me. So like, rate, subscribe. So this is Steven, and I'm out.